Hello, darling viewer, Lorenzo here, and this is episode 45 of KSP to Mars. And what you're looking at here is the business end of the new booster. Now, I think it's not exaggerated, I spent 3 days developing this. And not because the design is so ingenious, but because the Deinonychus engine, the new one, proved to be a little bit of a handful. I explained in the previous episode why exactly, and it turned out to be the Mark III pod. Why exactly, I have no idea, but well, it's been a problem, and now I have solved that by not using the pod. So, onto this new booster. You might be wondering, why is this first stage made out of mainsails? If we look here at the propulsion tab, we see the mainsail engine has 6 mass and 1500 thrust with an ISP of 280 seconds at sea level. If we then move over to the skipper engine, the other, well, let's say half power mainsail, has 650 thrust, 4 mass and 300 ISP at sea level. If we compare that to the Deinonychus here, that has 1425 thrust, weighs 3.5 tons of mass, and has 309 seconds of specific impulse at sea level. So across the board, that's better than both the mainsail and the skipper. The problem is with the Deinonychus is that it has a vectoring gimbal range of 1 degree, and it could even be that it has in fact 0 degrees, because I cannot steer anything with a Deinonychus engine for the life of it. So the first stage is powered by mainsails. That has, well, a delta V of less than a kilometer per second. It just serves to get the rocket off the pad and to set its course. And then, of course, a gradual gravity turn is handled by gravity, and we do not need steering for that. So if we scroll up to the next stage, we find a full Deinonychus stage. This has, well, how many engines? I count 12 plus 6 plus 1 is 19 engines of Deinonychus methane-fueled Fury in this second stage, with some wings to aid in that ever-present steering problem. The outer shell is onion staged, and as soon as that drains, it will fly away, aided by, of course, the separatrons here. Just the one taking care of the slope, taking advantage of the slope of this aerodynamic nose cone. These will propel the stage backwards and, because of the slope, away from the main boosters. And this center stack has quite a time. It has 1.35 thrust to weight ratio. By this time, fortunately, we're way outside the thick part of the atmosphere, and we can, we no longer need that high of a thrust to weight ratio. All these SAS units here serve to retain some sense of controllability, but it is a very, very low amount indeed. On top of that middle stack, we have here a asparagus staged upper booster made out of 7 Deinonychus engines, and this baby really packs a punch. As soon as this separates, we have 3.5 thrust to weight ratio, and that's with a payload hidden away in this fairing of 35 tons. So we have a lot of thrust to weight here. We accelerated 5 to 6 Gs. It's a big kick in the back for the Kerbals in this payload, and that drops away asparagus style as we're used to, and then whichever engines are hidden away in this payload will take it the rest of the way to wherever it's going. This is the best booster so far. As we can see, if we go to space now, which we will, where we'll find the lovely Lunar Land Lab. Well, it should be called the Lunar Land Lab 2. This whole module is supposed to land on the moon, and it's well in low Earth orbit, about 190 kilometers by 400 and something, so that's a decent orbit. We have about half a fuel tank of methane left, and I didn't bring a flight engineer on this flight. I wanted to, but I forgot. But you'll have to take my word on the honor system for it that this stage, like the whole lander rocket, has about 6.5 kilometers per second of delta V, which after this burns out should be enough to transfer to the moon and land there safely. And then we'll have for the first time a fully nuclear powered landed research laboratory on the moon. Of course, we want to pick out a spot where, we haven't done any ground science yet, so let's head on over to the science archives and have a look at that. Here in the Science Archives, we have a look at the moon, and we want to sort through the biome. So we have the Northern Basin, where we have an EVA report and just a gravity scan. So anything on the ground here is still fair game. Same deal with the Far Side crater, the Highland craters, and the Midland craters. also the east far side crater. Actually, we have a lot of places where we can go. It's just not Midlands. I'm going to write this down on a notepad so that I don't have to tab back when I'm flying over the moon. So not Midlands, not Northwest crater, not the polar crater. Well, this is not the most interesting of videos. I'm going to cut it out, make my notes, and then I'll see you back at the Lunar Land Lab when it's burning for its transfer to the moon. So I will see you back in space, all noted up. And there we are, back in orbit, preparing for a moon injection burn. I'm doing the descending node ejection angle trick, where I will meet the moon on the ascending node, where the planes of my equatorial orbit will meet its inclined orbit. This will, if I'm eyeballing the map here correctly, will give me a, well, sort of halfway orbit between equatorial and polar, which will hopefully give me a nice choice of biomes. So let me just ignite the rocket motor here. Now, you might be wondering why I'm not using these nuclear engines. They are mounted on the side and they could fire now. The reason for that is now that we are using this liquid methane engine, this is a different fuel from this here, and that is incompatible with the nuclear engine. So we are in fact stuck with burning the upper stage, the old fuel there, and then switching to the nukes. No matter though, this engine is efficient enough. It's almost half as efficient as the nuclear engine, so it's not a big waste not to be burning this fuel through the nukes. Now, while I'm doing this burn, usually these are the bits that I cut out. While I'm doing this burn, this gives me the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about the future of the series. And rest assured, the series will continue. But in the past month or two, I think, I have been able to deliver a video a day. This is something that unfortunately will not be able to continue, at least I don't think so. I'll tell you a little bit about why, because currently I am living on Malta, working on commission, and I'm facing 1 or 2 fairly busy weeks up ahead. This is good because that allows me to make money, which allows me to live, which in the end allows me to make these videos. Not at the rate of 1 per day though. After these busy weeks, I am moving to the Netherlands, which of course will entail my computer being packed up in a box, going in the airmail or the boat mail. I don't know what I'm going to use yet. It will be packed up for a while. Also, when I'm in Holland, I am looking at buying a new computer. While that should not immediately cause havoc with the videoing, because of course my old one will function until I get that one, it will, well, cause me to spend time on other things, and in the end hopefully be able to upgrade to 1080p with the faster speeds I get in Holland, and of course the accelerated processing power with that new computer. Once in Holland, I will of course be looking to get super rich by getting new job works or other projects that will make me money. So while I will endeavor and strive to keep making videos, I do enjoy it, it's my hobby, and I still like the games. It is fairly possible that in the near future the video a day schedule will not in fact be maintained. I'll try to make a little stockpile of videos, so I'll at least be able to release one every few days, so you guys don't go completely dry. But just a little heads up, the ample supply may be drying up a little bit into the future. So with that said, let's fast forward to the completion of this burn and the selection of a landing site and all that good stuff. Then I can do the boring parts in peace while I'm eating the shepherd's pie that I'm currently having in the oven. I made a nice recipe tonight, and well, I'll save the good parts of the mission for you guys. So see you in a little bit. Right on, here we are. The landing site has been selected, and it is going to be the northern basin, and hopefully we can land there, because as you can see, the radiators are gleaming red, the nuclear engines are burning, and we have some tiny lander legs which are already extended. They extend just a few inches further than the nuclear rocket nozzles, and you'll have to take my word for it, because courtesy of Sherlock Kerman the pilot, we are landing in the dark. Yeah, so I'm not going to subject you to all this nightly terror. I will reconvene with you, my wonderful viewer, when the Luna Land Lab has set down, or should it befall a terrible tragedy courtesy of insufficient fuel, I will of course share that with you as well. For now, see you later. Right on, here we are coming in on our approach. We're at 19 kilometers now, traveling at 300 meters per second, which is fairly quickly, and I have no idea at what altitude the terrain will start here. It can be anything up to 10 kilometers, I think. I'm not quite sure about that. The terrain here, it doesn't seem to be quite near to the lander yet, and I thought this is a nice opportunity to do something different. If I cancel out my horizontal velocity more or less here, that means I can attempt a completely in-cockpit landing. Now that might of course very much fail. We shall see whether it does, and of course if we have enough fuel to do this. This is all that is remaining, twice this for 2 engines, so hopefully, yeah, we are going to make that. We are at 12 kilometers currently of altitude, and the radar altimeter in the internal vehicle screen, let's have a look at that here. Oh wow, and look outside the window, starts at 3 kilometers, and it isn't starting yet, so we have more than 3 kilometers of altitude, that is for sure. One thing I can't really see in the internal cockpit is our horizontal speed. I can see the vertical speed, but not the total speed readout, so well, that makes it a little bit difficult to, well, to gauge that speed actually. So what I am going to do, let's see, I could switch over to the internal view here. Oh wow, look at that, we can see the Earth through the window. And then this is the vertical speed. Yeah, the throttle does work. Is there a throttle readout somewhere here? Oh, here, look at that, we have a nav ball inside. So we can use that perfectly well. We just have to look up and down to the different readouts. Yes, let's try and do this. This sounds like a good challenge for this episode here. We have 100 meters per second, and I'm confident that with that amount of speed, oh, look at that, the radar altimeter is starting to drop. We're at 2 kilometers now. That means it's about time that we lose some extra speed. And is there an SAS readout? What determines whether I have the SAS on or not? We're at 1 kilometer altitude now, and we're going at 50 meters per second. We can keep that for now. I'm toggling the SAS on and off. Ah, there's the light. So now SAS is on, that's good. Oh, we're at 300 meters. Throttle up quickly. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, this does not look good. The capsule is intact though. We are not. Ooh, that was a big misjudgment on that approach. We are staring up into the sky. It's not a total disaster. The capsule has not been breached. SAS off. Pre-flight checklist. Can we read that? Get permission to see ship. Turn off. Check for missing parts. Tighten loose screws. Well, this is a bit late to go over the pre-flight checklists, I think. Uh-oh, the throttle doesn't do anything anymore. That probably means the engines have broken off. Don't forget. Yeah, okay, so let's have a look outside, see what's what, see how we're doing. Hey. We still have quite some stuff remaining. Everything except the lab, really. There's a science experiment. And we're resting on the radiators. The nuclear reactor is still there. The payload adapter is still there. This science experiment is still here. And we still have the capsule. We did lose the lab though. Fortunately, and that was unfortunately first, I forgot to put any Kerbal crew in that very laboratory. So, no casualties, just a loss of habitable facilities. And I think this is a wonderful start of our base here. Even the seismometer is still online. We can record the seismic data. Surface will now be monitored for impact events. That's great, because I'm sure there will be many of those. So, what else can we do? We can do a gravity scan here in the northwest basin. The northern basin, great. Send that on home. because I don't think this vessel is going anywhere. Look, all the crucial parts survived. The nuclear reactor, the radiators to shed the heat from that, and of course the capsule itself. Isn't that wonderful? And on the other side of this wonderful capsule, there was a thermometer. 16 science from that, and let's give Sherlock the opportunity to do a crew report, eh? Crew's assessment of the situation. He doesn't say what it is, but it's worth 20 points. That's great. And let's send Sherlock on an EVA now, shall we? I can turn on his lights. Ooh, that's a challenging place to reboard the spaceship. Well, let's let that go and see if we can indeed find some remnants. I wonder if that goo canister that was a little ways over there, if we can still use that for science. There's some landing legs here also. And, well, hey, is that a light off in the distance? That's probably just a star. It's not some rival moon base. I wonder if we can perform this experiment now by just walking up to it. No damage. No, we can't make it experiment. What's this? Okay, so that won't work. Then we're just going to settle for the EVA report. Keep that. Plant the flag, of course. And make no mistake, this is going to be the beginning of a glorious base. Next up will be another laboratory to live here or something. North. Ooh, what the hell happened there? Northern Basin Base. Of course, capitalized. Something exploded, but hopefully it wasn't us. Oh, and I shouldn't forget the surface sample. Keep that, and we are in fact going to transmit that because, well, let's face it, Sherlock doesn't really have any way of getting home from here. And it remains to be seen if he has any way of getting back into his capsule from here, but I think he should. It is a challenge at any rate. Ooh, I got the grab pop-up there for a second. I'm spamming the ingress key, but so far, no joy on that. There is a strut in the way, that might be a problem, but well, he could get out through that, no worries. So by my reasoning, he should be able to get in as well. Yeah, no. So I hope you're not epileptic, because you will get a seizure out of this. Oh god. Go on. One thing is for sure, if he should run out of jetpack fuel, then he's done for. He's not getting in then. Or is he? Maybe just a simple jump will suffice. No, that will just bash his head. Alright, alright, alright. When I jumped then, it gave me the F grab text for a little bit. So instead of jumping, I'm now going to go slowly up with the jetpack. Oh no! And I'm back. Turns out sticky keys did in fact crash the game, and upon loading first I thought we were plummeting through the air, well, not the air, but being on a rapid approach trajectory to the rocky ground. It turns out these panels, when the game unloads, when you reload the ship, these appear folded up and then they quickly deploy. Now this never really a problem, unless of course your base depends on these panels for support, which this one did, and when they did their thing, we are now standing upright, and this might not even be a bad thing. I do wonder though, where is my Kerbal? He's not in here, that's for sure. Oh, he is in here. But why then am I? Oh, but it's because I'm toggled the UI. Yes, I'm being very proficient at this game now. Let's see if we can, yeah, the science needs to be redone. It's basically reverted the game to the point before I did the EVA report, and this glitch has caused our base to be in quite a little bit better position. The gods of the moon, of crashes and protecting of stray Kerbals have intervened and saved us a little bit of headache. So let's go on an EVA. Upside down, of course, because that is the way he... Oof, whoa! He did slam his head hard on the ground in a jetpack assisted fall. I hope he doesn't die. Oof. He regained consciousness just in time to, well, slow his descent a little bit on those thrusters. And again, this random explosion somewhere. This is a dangerous place where he's landed. Okay, EVA report. Yeah, surface sample. We're going to have to take that with us to the capsule, just as we did last time. Take that EVA report. Yes, keep it. And, of course, the flag, so that any orbiting satellites will be able to track us wonderfully. Oh, the flag has been depleted. Apparently that did count. Okay, let's see if this is now slightly easier to get into the hatch. And of course I'm going to be wary of that I won't press shift 5 times in rapid succession. I did press no. Once again, I did not permanently disable this prompt because I'm just too lazy that way. And let's get back on board. For sure that is a lot easier. So in a way it was a good thing. So transmit that, wonderful. And now what I'm going to do is activate this, record seismic data, wonderful. And now of course we need to send a lander with some Kerbals and if possible a lab. The problem though is going to be that this whole contraption now cannot power any lander, any lab that will land next to it. So it was going to have to bring everything again, which is a bit of a pity. I'm going to have a think about that and decide what to do with that later. I could just send something else just for posterity, or I could build a prototype moon hopper that refuels from the lunar regolith. The problem with that is that the specific impulse for such a rocket is only about 280, which is dreadfully low. So even though it refuels on every hop, it would have a marginally, well, not a marginal, just a rather low amount of delta V. So what I'm now trying to do is just time warping forwards until we get a little bit of daylight. There we go. Oh, this is a very short day. Look, we are in the very high latitude. That apparently means that we get a super short day. Or it means that the high time warp I chose made the sun go by really quickly. Right, anyway, this is a situation that Sherlock now finds himself in. Not a lot to do. A idle nuclear reactor that is radiating all its power in heat straight back up past the capsule, so he's not freezing to death. That's a good thing. And otherwise he's just going to chill out here at the Northwest Basin base until some of his fellow Kerbonauts will come get him or deploy a new lander. We might do something with a rover. Oh no, I don't have the wheels. Yeah, I just think I'm going to resend this in some future episode. For next episode though, I am going to fast forward to Jupiter and see what happens there with the science probe, the old probe that will crash into the atmosphere. And perhaps if there's time I will do something with this. For now, Sherlock will remain here for the foreseeable future. So I'm Lorenzo, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, another rendition of a wonderful failure where through no part of my own no one died. So that's good. See you next time, see you tomorrow. This was Lorenzo, goodbye.